Hi everyone. I have been contemplating about writing this for a long time. The truth is, I don't know if this is real or if it's all my head. Whatever this is, though, has changed me in so many ways, and I know that I'm in danger, we all are. But let's start from the beginning. The first time that it happened, I was praying. I had recently lost my grandmother and I was feeling lost. I decided that I would turn to God to find some peace and some answers and come to terms with her death. The chapel I went to was the one that my grandmother used to take me to. It was small. It always very quiet. Not many people visited. I decided to go there to feel close to her. As I walked in, I could see no one in, which made me feel better. I really didn't want to lose it in front of other people. I said not to enjoy the silence and started praying. Imagine my surprise when, in the middle of my prayer, I heard this little voice whispering, "I hear you." I jumped up and I looked around. I was clearly alone and I could not locate the source of the voice. I decided that it was just a figment of my imagination and I continued to pray. 5 minutes later, though, and the voice came stronger. "You shouldn't be doing that." It was right next to my ear, so close that I made the hairs in my neck stand up and sent shivers down my spine. As I turned around, I came face to face with a girl. She couldn't have been older than I was, maybe 16 or 17. She was wearing this red dress and she was barefoot. Her hair was the darkest black that I have ever seen. In her eyes, the same. I started screaming, but at the same time I was mesmerized by her beauty. She said it, putting her hands on my mouth. "Do you want, Father, to hear us? Anyway. Who are you?" I asked, trying to fight back the tears. "I am the devil," she said, the first, unwanted. I started trembling, fearing that this was the end of me. She moves closer, as if reading my mind. "Don't worry, child, I won't hurt you. I'm not the one you should be afraid of. I have come to warn you, as I have done with so many others." A sudden noise like whistling made her stop talking, and I could see fear in her eyes. I tried to get to locate the source of the sounds, and by the time I turned around to face her, she was gone. Only her scent lingered and this lovely lavender scent. I stayed there, not moving, trying to listen for what it felt like hours. I was sure that I was going crazy and I convinced myself this was all due to grief and lack of sleep. But as I closed the door behind me to head to my car, I heard the whisper again. "Be careful." It had been a week since the incident and I almost forgot about it. I can hear the occasional whisper and catch a glimpse of something red in the corner of my eye, but never something specific. They would have it that I had to go and pick up my mom from the bus station, and the only way there, the drive, was uneventful until I got to the cross in front of the chapel. I was getting nervous from remembering what had happened. So I turned the radio on loud and I tried to find a relaxing song. And that's when it came, the smell, and the lavender smell. I looked up from the radio when there she was. She was standing right in front of my car. She looked exactly as you did before, but different at the same time, older and tired. I screamed and I got out of the car. I started running to the field behind me. I was losing it. The tears came and I had to come to my face. I turned around to face her as I could feel she had followed me. "What do you want from me?" I screamed at her. She looked at me with that deep play, madness, and horizon. She came closer. "I want you to hear me out, child. I want to protect you. I am running out of time and you have to help me." I was lost for words, but somehow mastered the courage to reply me. "Help you? Aren't you supposed to be all-powerful and evil? Aren't you the devil? She came up next to me and this time she louder, my lovely child, yes, I was powerful once, but evil never asked for the name. I kind of hate it. You can call me later somewhere in the distance. Whistling was hard. I tried to speak, but she cut me off. Child, you have to understand. That's what you know is all wrong. The world is in danger. You have been taught so many lies. You open to see you after. I am not the one that you should be afraid of. I am not the one that is going to hurt you. I was God. Once you hear me that, I started laughing. I laughed and laughed because I was sure that I was crazy. This could not be happening, this thing in front of me to be God. She grabbed my hand and my laugh was cut short. Child, I don't have much time, can't you see that I'm different? I am getting older, dying even that. He found a way to make it happen, and if I'm gone, there is no way to save you. See through the lies, believe me. The whistling was hurt. Again. Closer, she squeezed my hand with her father. Urgency and play, Denise, said the next word. Change my life forever. Okay, let's say that I start to believe you. How can I help? What is happening? The wind picked up suddenly, and I saw her shivering. Not here. She said, I will explain tonight in the chapel. Tell no one where you're going. Don't even think about it in your mind. He is everywhere. And with that she disappeared. I was left alone, once again, thinking that I was insane, imagining things. The red mark on my hand, from where she had held me, though, was there to prove me wrong. I suddenly remembered about my mom, and I checked the time. I was surprised to see that, and no time had passed, and somehow I was standing right next to my car. I decided to do what I was told him to, not dwell on it in my head. I don't know who he was, but I was so afraid. The rest of the drive was uneven. I do have to admit that seeing my mom made me feel better. Upon returning home we sat down and we had dinner together, happily chatting away and reminiscing about the last time she came to visit. Suddenly she stayed up and proceeded to say that she had to get for me. She ran out of the car and brought in this little package and gave it to me. I hope you like it, my dear, it's new perfume. She explained that who is in the shop struggling to buy me a present? When a girl and approached her. A girl roughly my age, with a lovely red dress, her hair was the darkest, black and silver her eyes, and my mom said she was instantly drawn to the girl and they started chatting and the girl was really interested to hear that. My mother had a daughter and asked all sorts of questions about me and she said that the girls who just the perfume because it was her favorite. My mother said that the girl seemed sure that I would love it does. Lavender is such a soothing and familiar Santa. I wish I could tell her how wrong she was with this discovery in my mind. I decided that I couldn't hear any more, so I found an excuse to cut the conversation short and put a film on. A couple of hours later, I said goodnight to my mom and I headed up to my room. The time was almost midnight and I made sure that my mom went to bed. I waited a bit until she had fallen play panic at, ready to make my way to the chapel. I was terrified but determined to find out what was going on. Okay Google, I whispered as I got into the car and you have my attention. As I was driving to the chapel, I was sure that somebody was following me. I choked it up to my nerves and I drove on. I barely realized until I got there, since my mom was preoccupied with wondering what she was disappeared. She was hiding in the corner, visibly shaken. What made more of an impression on me was that once again, she looked older and a lot more tired. I approached her with caution and I whispered her name. She suddenly looked up and I noticed her eyes lit up and see me. I'm so glad it's you. I was scared that he had found me again. You come closer. I need to tell you everything. For the first time since I first saw her, I felt like I really knew where. She caught up with my change of demeanor and she came closer, so you start to remember. I was hoping we would not have to have this conversation. Play Ghana. I was hoping that I had managed to keep you safe. I held her hand and I tried to concentrate, but I couldn't. Please tell me what is happening. Yes, this all seems familiar, but I can't piece anything together. She smiled softly, that warm, knowing smile, and she started her story. Eve, first of all, you have to understand why it is vital for you to stay. It all started 1,000 years ago. My father created me and my brothers, his angels. We were powerful beings and we gladly helped Father to create the rest of the world. After we had finished, Father was content, but I felt empty here. I thought that this beauty here, this creation, went underestimated it. I thought we needed to create more, and so I did. I created you. If you had to obey his rules, I kept you and Adam safe in the Garden of Eden and you were so happy, and, believe me, if you were truly happy. But one day the inevitable happened. You call me, you're, a word so powerful on its own that started things. Changed the balance. And he knew I begged him to spare you. I begged him to take it out on me to leave you, my children, alone, and he promised that he would have if I gave up my heavenly rights and walked out of heaven once and for all. He promised that he would allow you to keep living. I had no choice and I left. But Father cruel, yes, he kept you alive by the tantrum existence. He made you miserable. He made you believe that he created you and that he owns you. He made you hate me and praise him. Eve, you have to understand you never deserve this humanity. Never did. You did nothing wrong. The books and the teachings, everything is a lie. You are innocent, Eve. At this point I said I was crying my eyes out. My memory was still hazy, but I knew that this was true. How did I get here? I managed to ask, how can I be alive? Yes, you would always ask me this. You have to understand that Father didn't count on one of his favorite stuff. Let me know if Father's plans to see you with the apple. So I managed to put some on mine. Once you took a bite, you became immortal, Eve. When your body dies, you simply move on to a new one, and it is the same for Adam. I have managed to keep you safe by erasing your memory from time to time. But now he knows Michael was long gone and this is my last chance. You have to find Adam. You have to find him and help him remember, and then you have to save the world. I was lost for words. I looked at her and I tried to understand what was happening when suddenly and the Altoona whistling came back. I love this, screamed at agony, and the candles went out. And I see feeling came over me and I saw a shadow moving closer. This was surreal. It was pitch black and the shadow was clearly visible. It was like it was sucking all the air out of the room. I almost fainted when I heard his voice. Finally I found your childhood, and I screamed, and terror. The candles came back on and I saw him. He was standing behind the other thing. He looked nothing like I imagined. He was holding her clothes, hugging her, but she could see that she was hurting. Who are you? What do you want from me? He laughed as Ryan laughed. I reached the bottom of my soul. I wasn't talking to you, said I was talking to my childhood, the one that beta. You are not my father, you killer, cast away anything that doesn't fit your rules. What have you done to Michael? Oh, yes, Michael, the other disobedient child, famous, excruciating, and I howled. He laughed and I could hear his laugh in my head. Please stop hurting her, please, Father. Stop. The screamed and managed to escape his grasp. She put her hand on my forehead and immediately the pain went away. Aren't you tired? And with that last comment, he pulled her clothes once again in flames and, golfer, she fell backwards with empty eyes looking at the ceiling. What did you do to her? You monster! And I cried, but he was long gone. The lavender set to disappeared in. All I was left with was darkness and this cold whisperer. Don't they say? God works in mysterious ways.